might as well start. So hi, my name's Pete. I work and live together with an animal sanctuary based in Robertsbridge. Unfortunately, the founder of the sanctuary couldn't be here, so she asked us to step in and kind of show you guys what we're about, what we do. You'll have to forgive me because I've never done this before. We've got quite short notice to do it as well, so I might be a little bit sketchy with the whole thing, so just bear with me. But so just to be on the same page with everyone, I thought that I'll get the definition for a sanctuary up, because I don't know if all of you are vegan, maybe some of you are just interested in veganism. But the idea behind the sanctuary, it's a facility or a place where animals come and they get to live out their life in peace, their whole lifespan in peace, free to exhibit their natural behaviors and do the things that they love doing. For me, personally, what a sanctuary is, it's a place for education for people as well. People are able to come and visit the animals that normally they wouldn't associate more than with the thing that they see on the shelves, for example, as a product. So it's really great that these places exist and that they can come and kind of connect the animal to their play, and it's a really amazing place. It's a really educational place for people. So Freedom Farm was founded by Lynda, who unfortunately couldn't be here. And her story is that she used to be a horse breeder, so she used to breed horses, Arabian horses. She was very good at what she did, I guess. She was very renowned in her kind of groups. And one day she just realized that she's caring for these horses, but she's consuming other animals, and it just didn't fit with her ethics anymore. And she no longer wanted to commodify horses, she no longer wanted to commodify pigs, cows, chickens, geese, ducks. You can see the family that we have. We've got a little laser pointer here at the bottom. So we've got about 100 animals at the sanctuary now. Yeah, it's a really amazing place. Written down 50 plus chickens, because it's very, very hard to count chickens. They always move, you can't really get them to stand still. And Lynda's been doing it for 10 years, whilst me and Bella there, we've joined a few months ago and are helping her recently. And there's so much good stuff I can say about Lynda. She's 73 now, she's still running the whole thing by herself. She actually is an amazing vegan activist as well. She actually holds fitness classes for people in Robertsbridge. So yeah, she's an absolute paragon for veganism and for all of that. So what I thought I would do, I wasn't sure whether I'd be speaking to activists, whether I'd be speaking to vegans or not. I just wanted to go through the animals that we have at the sanctuary and kind of introduce them on a personal level, show you guys their individual characters, who they are and what they do. But I thought we'd start with dogs, because I'm sure that everyone can agree that dogs, there you go, some dogs there. Are their own characters. They do have, in Western society, they do have a lot of rights. They are recognized as companions rather than commodities like other farm animals. And on the farm, we have 7 dogs. Luna, Bella's dog, she lives with us in the caravan, and she's right there, and she's an absolute handful because she's a side hound, so all the little chickens that she wants to chase, or the sheep, she's an absolute handful, but she's getting much better, and it's really rewarding to teach her about these other animals being her friends rather than toys to play with, I guess. The other dogs on the list, they're all Romanian rescues that Lynda actually brought over from Romania. I don't know if you guys know, but spaying and neutering in Romania isn't the most common thing for people, and a lot of people do get dogs but they don't have a garden for them to play in. So what happens is they let the dogs out for the day and they actually breed amongst themselves, and there's just a plethora of dogs that's just on the street. And what the Romanian government does, as well as other governments like Greek, Spanish and Poland, they have kill shelters, so they grab around 2,000 dogs every single week, and they just put them to sleep. So there's a lot of charities and a lot of places in foreign countries that actually specialised in bringing these dogs over and giving them amazing lives in the UK. Each one of these dogs is individual in their own right, and they're amazing dogs. Susie, for example, she's right there. She was a yard dog in Romania, so it's actually very hard to get her to come into the house, and she's not used to being inside. She's used to being outside, and she's not very keen on coming inside. Benny's just recently joined. He joined us a month ago, and he absolutely hates me. He hates my guts. Whilst Bella or Lynda or Ricky, her husband, they always get close from him. It's amazing how much these dogs are individuals and how much it's easy for us to see that. We've also got pigs, so we've got 6 pigs on the farm. This piggy there and this piggy here is the same piggy, just a lot of time passed since one picture and the other. But we have 6 piggies, and there's 2 groups of 3. We keep them in 2 groups of 3. Connie, Sammy and Fifi are what would normally be regarded as meat pigs. So they were rescued from the industry where normally at 6 months old they would have been slaughtered for their bodies. They're now 2 years old at the sanctuary. They're living the most fulfilled life. Pigs are absolutely amazing. They're mind-blowing. They speak to us when we're around them. They recognize my voice. One of them, Connie, she's like my best friend in the sanctuary. She is so happy whenever she sees me. You can tell when they like being scratched behind the ear because they actually let off a different kind of squeak to the low grunt when they see us. They actually have a language, and I don't know if you guys know, but mother pigs actually sing to their babies as well. There's some videos online of mother pigs actually singing to their babies, so it's absolutely amazing. And the most mind-blowing thing for me with these pigs is that they actually decorate their area. So what will happen is we've recently actually cut down a bay leaf tree which we put into their area, and what they did is they snapped off little twigs and they put them in each corner of their space as well as on each side of the entrance, and they surrounded their beds as well. So I'm convinced that they do it because they just love the smell of it and they love the way it looks, and they just sleep in these areas made out of twigs. It's absolutely amazing, and you know, the industry strips them of all of that. It strips them of being able to rummage, it strips them of being able to decorate things, to keep clean. They're incredibly clean animals. It's such a misconception that they're not. Lindy, Penny and Ben are the other 3, and they're what would be regarded as companion or pet pigs. So micro pigs, pot-bellied pigs, and what happens is people get them because they are clean animals, but they completely misjudge how much enrichment they need, how much exercise they need, how much space they need, and they've turned to Lynda to ask for help, so they're now with us. One of them is Lindy, and she's actually the biggest piggy on the farm. No, that's all right, just have a seat. Turkeys, so we've got around 20 turkeys now, I think 19 turkeys, and turkeys are really special to us because of Christmas coming up. We've recently rescued 11 turkeys from a turkey farm that would have been bred and born right in time to be fattened up for Christmas, but instead we've managed to get 11 of them to naturally live out their life. And the tricky thing with turkeys is that they're actually bred to grow very fast. They're bred to grow incredibly fast, so we actually have to be very careful how much we feed them, because if we overfeed them, they grow too fat and they actually can get very weak legs and they struggle to walk. And our oldest turkey at the minute is William, and he's about 5 years old, and they're definitely not bred to even live that long. We don't know how, because these turkeys wouldn't normally live past a few weeks, a few months, so because they're usually bred for meat. Atlas, the very first name of the turkey is mine, and that was out of deep. So we've actually adopted Atlas as one of our animals that we help out with financially. And she's an incredible character. She's totally different to the other turkeys. What happens is these guys are very curious, so they walk around pecking everything, trying to get into places they shouldn't. They give us a lot of work. It's insane. And Atlas is always on her own. She's always doing her own thing away from everyone else. And you know, you can really see the individuality between all of these turkeys, and they're not just turkeys. They're like their own separate people, and it's really, really amazing to see them kind of make sense of the world with their beaks and with their feet kind of walking around. That's Atlas right there. Chickens as well. Chickens for me were a very interesting thing, because I think the word chicken itself, the word chicken is so stripped of the individual bird that it comes from. It just becomes a product name now. Like you get chicken and chips, you get chicken at a supermarket, but they are their own birds. And when you look at 50 plus, 60 plus chickens, you really have that sense of them being stripped of their identity by the industry. But slowly over time, over the last 3 months that we've been spending there, we're actually starting to recognize them as the individuals just from the way they look. Every single chicken has different feathers, it's like their own different fingerprints. They have their own desires, they have their own fears, they have their own favorite people. Like here, for example, Emma absolutely loves Bella, and what she will do is, when we just chill with them in their area and we sit down, she'll actually run up to Bella and she'll wait until she gets picked up and she'll fall asleep in our arms. So it's absolutely beautiful. But on the other hand, when I get close to Emma, she'll run away and she wants nothing to do with me. Maybe I have something against these animals. So, you know, Benny doesn't like me, Emma doesn't like me, so I don't know. Lily, for example, she's doing white chicken with a black necklace, and she's the main subject of attraction for all the boys, so it's very important for us to keep her separate from the boys, because it can get very intense for her. They chase her around, they try to jump on her, so she has quite an intense time, sorry. And most recently, Alfie, who joined us around 2-3 weeks ago, he got dropped off by some vegan activists. He was rescued, and it's the first, for me, it's the first being that I'm taking care of from a baby, and it's really, really amazing to see this chicken and this little rooster, we think, just grow in trust towards us and kind of start following us and burrowing in our clothes, and really sensing that affection from him, and that trust is really, really rewarding and really, really amazing. Here's Jason right there with Alfie. There he is. He's the adoptee of Alfie, so he helps us out financially with a monthly amount, and he gets to visit Alfie whenever he wants. He gets to chill with him. He gets holidays. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And yeah, these chickens are just. It's just amazing to see how, well, amazing. It's saddening to see how much we do strip them of their individuality, and just seeing these guys as ambassadors for all the other chickens that aren't regarded as individuals is just very humbling and very amazing to see. We have 2 goats. Onyx, who's actually the ginger goat, and Ruby, who's the black goat. They're mother and son. And yeah, basically, if you're ever thinking of rescuing a goat, don't let them into your garden, because they will shoot every single plant there. They eat everything. And Onyx is incredibly playful, incredibly mischievous, and again, he loves Bella. I don't know why these animals don't like him, but they play a lot. So what will happen is Bella will come up to him, give him a little tickle on the side, and he will get up on his back feet and try and headbutt her. But it's very, very playful, because at the end we know that he comes and sniffs her and gives her a little lick, and they kind of go off their own ways. And again, this wasn't something that started from the get-go. This was something that we had to work up to, and we had to earn their trust, and we had to work with them, feed them, take care of them until they did start opening up to us and trusting us a lot more. Horses. So we have 5 horses on the farm, and they are Lynda's pride. They are amazing. Love the animals to start off with horses, and she loves them so much. And for me, horses are so scary. I was so scared of horses. They were intimidating. They're these majestic creatures that can literally kill you with a single kick. So I was like, I don't want anything to do with this. And that's what the sanctuary is for me as well. It's that education on how to deal with those animals, and it's about approaching them properly, it's about respecting their space, it's about understanding their needs. So with Lynda's kind of guidance and some of Bella's experience with horses, I've been able to actually take care of them, get close to them, pet them, and they've been able to trust me as well, because horses are amazing. They can tell when you're worried, they can tell from your body, they can tell from your energy, I think. And if you ever want to set a clock to a horse, they're incredible timekeepers. They actually get annoyed at us for being late with their food every day. They always wait on time at 4:30. They're always there to get food, and if we're 15 minutes late, they'll actually have a go at us. They go so crazy. Cows. So we have 2 cows. We're actually a very small sanctuary by sanctuary standards, I guess. 100 animals is a match. I know that places like Hudlers, I think, has upwards of 1,000 individuals at the sanctuary, so we're very young and very small. But we've got 2 cows, and Sasha, this boy here, this guy is a very, very important story to us, because he was rescued from the veal industry. He was actually going to be shot within 24 hours if we didn't pick him up. I don't know if you guys are aware of what happens to male calves in that industry. Yeah, so that's a really amazing community group project, if you will, because the Brighton vegan activists actually found him, they found Lynda, and they all got together to rescue him at the sanctuary. And just last month, he actually had his first birthday, so he's going to live out his natural lifestyle at the sanctuary, where he would have been dead within 72 hours of being born, and cows live up to 25 years. So yeah, he's an amazingly pretty boy, and he's very, very friendly with people, because he's always been around people since he was born. Laura joined him a few days after Sasha arrived, and Laura is a Dexter cow who would have been bred for beef, and she would have been killed at about 18 months of age, I think. She's so scared of people, and I genuinely think that's because of how people treated her when she wasn't with us. She's incredibly timid. She always makes sure that there's Sasha between me and her, that she's always hiding behind something, but on the other hand, she has been trusting us a lot more, and she is now coming up and sniffing our hand, and she is trusting us a lot more, and that rehabilitation from an abusive past is what sanctuaries provide as well, and that's the amazing thing about them, because these animals have come knowing only abuse, being rushed, being pushed, being kicked, being shouted at, and they come into a sanctuary where all humans want to do is give their time to them, because they deserve it, just like our dogs and cats do. Last but not least, they're actually my favourite, sheep, and they were incredibly mind-blowing when I first started hanging out with sheep, because to me sheep were these thoughtless kind of herds that don't just follow each other, they really think much, they just eat and poo, and that's all they do. But as soon as I went into the field with these guys, Marco, right here, he runs up to you like a dog does. He waggles his tail, he actually jumps when he sees you. Larry, on the other hand, is such an individual that if you step into his area and you're a new person, he will headbutt you. He will do everything to protect the little herd. And it's really mind-blowing that we're taught that they're so mindless and so thoughtless, but there's not much different to them between them and dogs. They blew me away as soon as I met them. And Marco will literally give you a little kick on the shin with his hoof when he wants a little rub on the back, and it's just incredible to see. And sheep, I just can't say enough about sheep. They're just absolutely my favourites. And those of me sleeping more than Marco. Why am I telling you all these individual stories? Because that's why it's important to appreciate what sanctuaries do for individuals, and it's very, very important to remember that 56 billion individuals every single year don't get any of this, and they get abused every single day, and that's why it's incredibly important to allow these sanctuaries to help these individuals, because if these sanctuaries don't exist, these vegan activists that do rescue these animals won't have a place to give them to. There's no way that we can just keep them in our rooms, and we need these places. So it is a safe space for rescued animals, and it's as simple as that. These animals are rescued, they need the space. We provide rehabilitation for animals that came from abuse. You know, like Laura, who is scared of people, she now only knows love. Like these dogs from Romania who would have been incredibly abused on the streets. Bush, one of the dogs, actually is missing an eye from being abused. And now they have the best life. They get to have all the couches, they get treats every single day, they get walks, they get rubs behind the ear, and you know, it's helping them rehabilitate and allowing them to trust humans again. This for me is very important because they are places for education, like Me with the Horses, or like non-vegans who come and visit us, who put a face to the product that they buy and realize that Connie, you know, has feelings, and Connie is a piggy that loves doing this, or loves rummaging around in the forest, or loves treats, or actually is happy to see people. It's also a safe space for us, you know, because being vegan, I don't know if you guys know any other vegans, but I felt very alone as a vegan in my family. I actually come from a family of meat workers and butchers, and I was very, very alone in it. And you know, finding places like the sanctuary, like other activists, is incredibly, you know, uplifting for someone that feels very alone and very ostracized, I guess. It kind of helps us reach our batteries as well, and reminds us why we do the things we do. It puts us on the right track as well, because it makes us appreciate that what we do actually matters. It's a great place for social media, whether we like it or not. We consume the world on social media now, online, through YouTube, through Facebook, Twitter, all those things, and that's how we consume the world. So, you know, being able to visit and being able to show 1,000 people on your Facebook list that, you know, you came to visit, normalizing the idea of actually treating them as individuals is incredibly important. And it's important because, last but not least, of course, is the financial help that sanctuaries need. Lynda is also funded. She pays for all of the animals' foods, all of the bedding, all of the medical bills, all of the vet bills, all of the transportation when we have to get them around. All of that stuff comes out of our own pocket. And you know, we have an outgoing of like £1,800 a month, and the stuff that we get from people as you know, contributions is like £260 a month. You know, it doesn't even touch it at the minute, and it's incredible what she does. That's why it's important for us to help these sanctuaries, whether it be Freedom Farm, whether it be Friend, whether it be Publix, Tower Hill, all local sanctuaries. They are all self-funded. They all work through contributions from the public, and you know, if we all did a little bit, we could help a lot to a very large amount of families. And lastly, what Lynda has asked me to do is to extend a warm welcome to all of you. You know, because it is free to visit us. You are most welcome to visit us. Come and see these animals for yourself. So we're based in Roberts Bridge, so about an hour from here. Yeah, so she wanted me to just extend a warm welcome to everyone. You can find us on Facebook and the Freedom Farm Animal Sanctuary. All it takes is a phone call or like a quick message to say, hey, when I arrive at this time.
You don't have like an open day?
We don't have them at the minute because we are a small sanctuary and we're just trying to keep it quite humble at the minute, but we will work up to that. But at the minute, it's just a case of, you know, giving us a call. You know, it's free to visit. We always appreciate that. Yeah, it would be amazing to see you guys, and you can meet all these guys for yourself, and maybe see if Emma likes it as much as she likes Ben. But thank you for coming to the talk, and thank you for listening. But that's about it for me.